Welcome to On-Camera Coaching Tips. I'm Victoria Hagnai, and I'm a media producer here at the Center for Advancing Faculty Excellence. If you want to skip through to certain sections, we're going to go over first, what to wear on camera. Second, what to say on camera. And third, how to say it, or best delivery practices.
The best thing to keep in mind when dressing for a camera is keep it simple and professional and find a solid color. The best colors to choose from are navy, gray, lavender, light blue, or caramel. If those colors don't feel flattering to you, you could also try jewel tone colors like dark coral, amethyst, or cobalt. Avoid wearing colors like black, red, white, or green. Interestingly, these colors may look great in person, but on camera they create technical difficulties. Red can cause bleeding or cause the skin on a person to look hazy, while green can blend into the green screen if you are filming in front of one. Black and white colors cause a person to look shapeless or lose definition on a camera. If these are your go-to colors, consider dark gray or navy as a better choice.
As far as jewelry goes, you want to keep it as simple as possible, especially if jewelry is hanging out around here. It can sometimes get in the way of audio, so the simpler the better. We sometimes get questions about eyeglasses, and it's totally fine if you're a glasses wearer to come to the shoot wearing your glasses. If you wear contacts, we prefer if you go ahead and just come in your contacts. That just helps reduce time and moving the lights around to avoid glare, but not a huge deal if you do wear glasses.
The camera will capture things differently than what the human eye can see, so patterns like these can cause strobe-like effects on the final video. Especially small patterns like pinstripes, herringbone, and houndstooth can create what's called a moire effect.
The media professional you're working with should have things on hand like eye drops, lint rollers, mirrors, hairbrush, or hairspray in order to help with final appearance once you get to the studio for shooting.
Likely, you've already met with your media producer for a pre-interview. Within this meeting, you should keep these questions in mind when honing down or weeding out content. What are your learning objectives and central ideas for the viewers of your video to walk away with after they watch it? What is the overall length of the video intended to be? If it's 5 to 7 minutes, you should plan on spending about 40 minutes or less when filming. Will the camera be following you around when you're moving, or will you be stationary? Most likely you will be stationary. Are there any questions or parts of the script you're uncertain about? It will be important to contact your media producer to figure these things out.
If you're nervous about being on camera or have had little experience with it, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Video has the power to delete your mistakes. That's right. If you mess up, your mistakes are forgiven and forgotten. So use this to your advantage and practice just a little bit before you come in for your shoot. Here are a couple reminders on body language before we get into delivery.
Good posture can certainly help make you look more flattering, alert, and presentable. When your back is closely aligned with the chair, your shoulders are back, and your feet are stationary. Another common question we get is what to do with your hands. Our best suggestion is to speak like you would normally speak in a comfortable conversation. If you are more on the animated side, then just be yourself, but within what we refer to as the speaker's bubble. If you are more reserved with your gestures, you might need to practice loosening up a bit with a few hand gestures. Studies show that speakers who use more hand gestures, audience members remember twice as much content compared to those speakers who do not use as many hand gestures.
The amateur is the person who's been on camera once, twice, or maybe never. They typically are very afraid and uncomfortable, but that's okay. My best advice for you is to think of this as if you're going to speech class and you're about ready to give your speech. It's a similar communication style to that, where you want note cards or pointers, but you don't want to read something word for word. You want to be composed, but not stiff. You want to be expressive, but still professional. Like any communication style, it just takes practice. There will be things you're a natural at, and other things that will just need more work. Let the media producer do their job and don't sweat the rest.
If you're an enthusiast, chances are you have a lot to say and you would like to say it quickly and excitingly. The great thing about you is you don't need to be coached into more energy because it naturally flows into your audience and it keeps them engaged. What can help you is turning your ideas into more concise ones or focusing on the bottom line of your content that relates to students or your audience the most. For you, we'll focus on summarizing the details of your content, so phrases like, in other words, or if I had to say that in one sentence, will be helpful. Going over your content and considering what and how each point ties to the main learning objectives will help you prior to filming. We also may consider segmenting or dividing your content into different videos based on topic. If you are a scatterbrained speaker, chances are you have a great excitement for your content, but you are a bit slower to speak than the enthusiast, as you are not completely confident with how you are sounding or what your ideas are. You often use filler words like, like, so, or use giant pauses. The great thing about you is your pacing is ideal and you usually connect very well with your audience as you've hit a good middle ground between not being too animated or too drawn out. The best thing you can do to improve is the prep work before going on camera to make sure your ideas are jointed so you feel more confident. Word-for-word scripts may actually be more beneficial to this speaker, and running through it a couple times to where you're comfortable with how your ideas work together will help.
By nature, you're probably a very thoughtful person. You like to sound knowledgeable about what you're talking about. You like to sound professional. Those are all really good things. Another great thing about you is you have brilliant things to say, and your audience needs to hear it. Now, what's most trivial about this type of speaker is they often think that video communication is similar to teaching communication, but these are two very different platforms and two very different communication styles. So what I advise for this type of speaker is to, as silly as it sounds, focus on their feelings. So what does that mean? If I'm teaching something to the camera or if I'm explaining something about my research, I'm gonna focus in on what makes me come alive about that research, and then I'm gonna talk like that. So it's not a process of being ridiculously animated or anything like that, but it is a process of focusing on, wow, I'm really excited about teaching this. And when a speaker like this can get in touch with their feelings, they communicate with their audience 100% more. Another practical tip for this type of speaker is to write out a script. You don't necessarily need to do it word for word, but if you make bulleted points and follow those points, then take that script and just practice it in front of a mirror. Take note of how you look, how you sound. Do you sound like you're scripted, or do you sound conversational, like I want to listen to what you're saying? So those are some really practical things you can do to loosen up and really help your audience engage with the brilliant things that you have to share with them.
So if you find yourself somewhere on the speaker spectrum, use these pro tips to improve and applaud yourself on what you're naturally good at. Keep in mind there are several resources you can find here at Cafe, and we are more than willing and able to help.